What's up, everybody? We're the Commoners of D&D. I'm Seth Templin.
I'm AJ Cannon.
And today we're taking a look at our D&D table. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you're planning on building your own gaming table, and we think you should. We built this one in just a day with a little bit of work, but a little bit of history first. Why we built it. We were first playing when I got my group together on a TV on the wall, and they were all having to sit way far away using a computer and seeing their characters up on the screen. We decided we wanted to start using minis, so we brought out just a folding white table, and I started drawing maps on a grid like that. Now we've kind of combined the best of both worlds. With the online battle maps, I can make any background I want, any kind of terrain. I can bring the players into a tavern. I can have them in the middle of a city. I can have them in the middle of a desert, whatever I want. And we're still able to use the minis, and players now can move them themselves, and it's been super nice doing that. We think you should build this table just because it's so cheap to make and easy. Tell them about that, AJ.
And very cost efficient and time efficient. I mean, we have very little carpentry skills, and we built this in a matter of a few hours. We've tweaked it since then, added some things and things like that, but just the initial build, a few hours. And very cost efficient. Basically the cost of a little bit of lumber and a TV, which was about $100.
That was the most expensive thing we bought, was the TV.
So $200 or less, you can have a table
I think way
like
less.
this. And I mean, some of the materials we used some 1/4 inch plywood or 3/8 inch plywood for the top.
You can use thicker, you can use lighter, all depends on what your needs are.
And a couple 2x4s and a 2x6. We bought some legs off Amazon.
And I was an idiot, I bought all the lumber treated. Don't do that.
And then just look around the house for stuff you can use, like this barn wood here. Probably a lot of people have old crappy wood laying around, or pallet wood that you can find and scavenge somewhere.
One man's junk is another man's treasure.
That's right. Sand it down and use it.
It looks beautiful. It looks rustic.
Got that rustic look to it. I was going for the tavern look.
And you pulled it off.
And the material on the table here is just a faux leather from Walmart. I can't remember what it was per yard. I got $35, $40 worth of it, and it was way too much. So
you got two times too much.
Yeah, 2 times too much. So,
and you can use whatever you want. My original idea, dream for it, was a royal purple kind of velvet, almost like a pool table. But this is way better. We can roll on this. Do make it to where you can put a book on your table. This fits anywhere. We wanted that. We even added the trim much later, and we wanted to always be able to put a book, so we made plenty of room. Think about that. Measure out your books, the cables underneath.
You want to leave room where you can get to your HDMI cable where it plugs into the TV. Leave room to get in there and work on the TV.
And the power cable to the TV when you're building your underbox.
And we even made a little hole here to put a mouse cable through, so we can leave a laptop on top of the table, or just run any other kind of cables through there.
If I as the DM wanted to use a laptop, I could put all of my power, everything into this hole, and I would be out of the way of everybody. Use screws when you make this thing. We're going to show you the underneath. We have both screws and nails. Use screws.
Use screws for if you had to take it apart and make any kind of repairs. We had to do that a while back.
We had to do it.
Because Seth's dog ruined our other TV.
Yep. My wife decided to get a dog, and she would sleep on top of this, and I thought it'd be fine. Covered it up, and then found out later that it was shattered, so we had to buy another TV.
And it was a chore getting the old TV out because we had used nails and screws. And
we didn't think it through. Now we know better. Now you know better.
And do make it your own. This was our design. This is how we wanted it to look.
We found a lot of videos on YouTube, found some posts on Reddit, and just made our own. And we are the commoners because we're common people. We are not carpenters. We don't do this professionally. You can do this too. It just takes we didn't even have the right tools for it.
No,
a lot
of the time, no.
We just did what we had to do. Wasn't hard, really not. Just try it. Like I said, don't use treated lumber. Mine is portable because this is literally the size of my living room. It's kind of big for the space, but it would be small in other spaces. So if you're planning on making something that's going to sit, I mean, it's not that big a deal. But if you're going to move it in and out like we have to, then you want to make it portable, make it light.
And also, one reason that it's a little bit lighter is because of the plywood thickness. Now, this is either 1/4 inch or 3/8. I can't remember which. You can go with that, but one thing you need to think about is how you're going to attach your trim. So I was using a nail gun, and I missed the plywood a lot because
it was so thin.
Not a big target. And also it kind of limits what you can attach to it because you can't drive very long screws through it. You can't drive rivets very deep into it. Originally, when we were putting the two pieces together on top here, I tried using dowels. It was really hard to drill holes in the edge of the plywood without busting out the plywood. So if you went with something like 1/2 inch, it would be a little easier to work with, but also would add weight. So you got to weigh your options there.
You'll notice that we have two different shelves on here. When we first started, it was one whole piece. And when we decided to put this faux leather on here, we thought it'd be a lot easier to cut the thing in half. And we're gonna show you if you cut it in half, put a way of locking those two pieces together because, why don't I just take those out real quick?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, this will happen when players push on it. This little item right here that we're gonna show you a lot better of, just locks in, keeps the two pieces whole, and makes the whole thing more stable.
Now. Sturdy.
Nice. Don't be afraid to try this, guys. Seriously, we're the commoners because we don't know what we're doing. We're just trying things. We don't know anything. We're not professional. We're not professional at podcasting. We're not professional at YouTubing. We're not professional at carpentry. Give this a try. It is well worth the little bit of money you're going to spend and the little bit of time you're going to create something that you're going to love.
Well, now let's take it apart and show them a little bit of how it works.
Yeah. See you in a second.
All right, so this is the underside of the table here. The TV is mounted to a wall mount bracket, which is then mounted to these two pieces of 2x6 here. That's how you get the TV level with the top of this box. So you build this box out of 2x6 here, take your TV, set it in there, screw it onto these boards, get the TV level with the top of the box, and then just screw it in wherever that happens to land on these two 2x6s. Then build this second ring around the top here. There's 2x4s, and that's what this top sheet of plywood sits on, which makes kind of the outer ring for the tabletop to sit on once you get it put together. Then the legs, pieces of 2x6 reinforced here because you wouldn't want to try to attach these legs to your 3/8 1/4 inch plywood. So we've got that reinforced there. Handy little spot here to keep your remote. If you got some Velcro around, always got your remote with your table. That way you don't ever forget it. And then, like we mentioned before, you want to leave good access to get to your HDMI ports. If your TV has buttons, you might want to leave a gap for that. Power cable stored in there, wrapped up with a Velcro wrap, and we got a piece of Velcro stuck in there, so slide it in, stick it down. Everything stays stowed properly. I can show how these legs, and making the table all more portable, the legs can unscrew. So you can slide that thing up against a wall anywhere and just stow the legs separate. That's the underside of the table. All right, so this is the top side of the table without the leaves on it. As you can see, it's still just raw plywood. We didn't have to finish that because that's always covered up. But one thing that Seth suggested that I do is take this material and wrap this top board. So that 2x6 that the TV is mounted inside of sticks up above the table here. And it just didn't really match the barnwood and such. So he suggested I put some of this material around the outside edge to cover all that up and cover up the gap of the TV in here. So that once the leaves are on top of here, you don't see any of this ugly stuff. You just see the wrap over the top board. It makes it look a little bit more seamless and a little bit better made. All right, so the leaves you can actually install with just one person because they're fairly lightweight. So they set on like so. They set on like so. Fits pretty snug against that inside board, and this is the side we've got the hole in for our mouse or power cord or whatever that is. That's drilled all the way through this piece and the bottom piece. And then take our other leaf. It slides right up next to each other. And then we just take our pieces here and latch it together at the bottom.
And that's 2 fail-safe. What are you waiting for? Get to building.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. If you want to leave those in the comments, we'll do our best to answer those. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more to come from us here at the Commoners of D&D. You can also check out the Commoners of D&D podcast, where we post episodes of our own campaign led by our faithful Dungeon Master Seth Templin. We also do a weekly talk show where we go in depth about our campaign. We talk about movies, video games, sports, any kind of nerd stuff, you name it. We talk about it on Say It in Common weekly on the Commoners of D&D podcast channel. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Commoners Official for news, updates, and an inside look at what we're doing. Hit us up on the socials. We'd love to hear from you guys. Until next time, we've been the Commoners of D&D. Thanks for watching.